which I guess that kind of can transition us into the next topic. So the NBA draft was this week. Free agency starts today, I'm pretty sure. So we'll have more for you updated on Monday when we get our next podcast out, because we probably won't be able to update. Either way, we have the draft to cover, which the Pistons were probably the biggest movers in this 2020 NBA draft. They were constantly trading. We traded for the 16th pick.
And the 19th pick. And for the 16th pick, we traded a future first-round pick that is heavily protected.
For the next, 4 years in the top 16, I believe.
And then after that, for 2 more years, it's in the top 10 or 11 or something like that. And then after that, it's protected top 9. And then if it continues to work bad and we get in those, then they just get a second-round pick. And then we got Trevor Ariza's contract off of them, which Trevor Ariza is going to make $13.3 million this year. But if the Pistons decide to buy out his contract, we will only owe him only 1.8 mil of that is guaranteed. Nice. So we'll still save 10 million just buying out his contract and letting him walk. And then they traded the 19th pick. It was a 3-team trade with the Clippers, Nets, and us. And we traded Luke Kennard and got the 19th pick. And after the draft, then Troy Weaver went out and traded Tony Snell, Kyrie Thomas for Dwayne Dedmon, which Dwayne Dedmon, all the reports have said he's just going to be moved afterwards. So
yeah. So Troy Weaver has came in with a plan, and he is definitely clearing out contracts, clearing out old, I wouldn't say useless player, because all NBA players are not useless, but just unutilized role players for the Pistons, I guess is the best way to put it. Because again, just like the Lions, they weren't utilizing some of the players well. We had some bad contracts. I am upset we got rid of Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard. I think those are 2 young players, especially Luke Kennard. He's a great shooter. He's still developing, and especially in this league, that's kind of what you need, is people who can shoot threes. Like, if you want to be able to compete.
In Troy Weaver's vision, Luke Kennard was not what he wanted, and Luke Kennard was going to want to get paid next season.
Yeah, he was coming up for a contract, so
Troy Weaver said, yeah, I'm going to get rid of you for a pick.
Get assets while we can.
Get my guy. Yeah, get my guy in here that I want.
It makes sense. And like I said, that's the thing. As long as Troy Weaver, obviously, I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he clearly has a plan. It looks like he's being aggressive, which is something I don't think we've seen really any Detroit GM do in a long time.
Yeah, he came out in his press conference after the draft, and he said he wanted to be aggressive during the draft, and he's also going to be aggressive during free agency.
Yeah, we have not a lot of cap space. We're kind of middle of the range at cap space, but still, I'm sure there's going to be some aggressive names that he's going to go after. We'll see. All right, so there are some big name free agents out there that we could possibly go after. Honestly, I wouldn't mind going after Gordon Hayward, especially since we got rid of Drummond and stuff. And if he's not a max contract, obviously, if he wants that huge contract that was originally got in Boston, then I don't think we're going to be able to.
Supposedly, Atlanta wants Gordon Hayward really bad, so I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta somehow gets Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But for the Detroit Pistons, with the 7th overall pick, we drafted Killian Hayes, which love the pick.
Yeah.
He's a great point guard. He's been working with Will Bynum, ex-Pistons guard. He obviously played over in France with Sekou Namboya, and him and Sekou are really good friends. So, those 2 are already going to gel really well together.
And that's something I want to note too. Obviously, not every single player is going to be a Luka Doncic. When players play like that professionally overseas, and again, obviously that's not the NBA, but there is a complete different level of competitiveness when you're playing professional overseas and you're playing collegiate American sports. So I think you're just a little bit more prepared for that professionalism and what it's actually like. Like I said, Luka was the perfect transition. He was playing professionally in Lithuania, I think is where he came from or wherever. And then he comes to the NBA and just absolutely dominates. Which, like I said, not every player is going to be Luka, but same thing with Sekou. He was playing professionally overseas, wasn't he, when we drafted him?
In France,
yeah, same. And he's not an all-star, but he definitely has the potential. He will look like he's going to be an all-star, give him a couple of years. So I'm really excited with the Killian Hayes, and I really think he's going to be a big addition, especially because we really need a point guard besides Derrick Rose.
I was going to say, he's going to be a big addition for us and a cornerstone going forward into what Troy Weaver wants his team to be with drafting a point guard his first year. So the man to run his team, basically, in his first year. So then with the 16th pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Isaiah Stewart. He's a big body center that was the best post scorer in the NCAA last season.
I believe
Obviously, that means he's a paint clogger like Drummond, can't space the floor, can't shoot threes. He's got a little bit of a mid-range, but not too well, but he has a high work ethic, a high motor, is very good at offensive boards and protecting the paint. So obviously that will be something nice. I mean, I just kind of see him as like an Andre Drummond 2.0 right now, from what I've heard about him.
That's what I was kind of upset too, because I was like, great, we're just gonna get another person, like exactly like you said, just to clog up the paint, just to just be in the way basically. And especially when we don't have a lot of shooters, and it seems like a lot of the players are gonna be driving to the hoop. Doesn't seem like that's a smart play, but who knows? He's still young. Maybe he can develop a three. Maybe he can start developing an outside shot that can help us out.
I definitely thought Xavier Tillman would have been a good fit for us. He was amazing, averaged 13 and 10 in Michigan State. He was a big that could go out there and shoot threes and space the floor. I definitely thought he was going to be a first-round pick. I definitely did not think he was going to fall to the second round. Obviously, good for him for going to team up with Jaren Jackson Jr., which those two together in Memphis might end up being good because they were teammates in Michigan State, Xavier Tillman's first year. So now being back together, which they both seem to be very excited about being back together, I think those two are going to be a good front court together.
Well, you're just biased because you're a big State fan.
But Xavier Tillman averaged 13 and 10, was Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. He can space the floor. He's a big body. Like,
either way, we'll see. Yeah, Memphis Grizzlies, they're going to be good. They're another one of those teams that have just been quietly collecting high-round draft picks for the last few years, and eventually they're all going to be playing well at the same time. So it's just going to be a matter of time before then.
And then with the 19th pick, they drafted, going to probably butcher this name, but it's like Sumbi Bay or defense.
Like, as we mentioned in our last episode about the Pistons, it seems like defense has been one of the biggest struggles for the Pistons. So if we can get that, we can, and even if we could just become a good defensive team that isn't all about shooting threes, but we can stop the perimeter and stop the other team from shooting threes, I mean, that's just as good too.
And then they traded for a second-round pick, which I so thought they were going to draft Cassius Winston there because there was reports that Detroit was very high in Cassius Winston and wanted to get a second-round pick to draft him. But they ended up drafting Saban Lee, or I think that's how you say his name. He's a point guard out of, I can't think of the college, but got a lot of speed. Obviously, like, has a lot of versatility and stuff. He's the one that kind of reminds me of Russell Westbrook, watching his highlight.
Yeah.
Obviously, just a guard that will probably end up just being in the G League for the year, maybe get called up, but we'll probably spend most of the year down in the G League.
So I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. This is the first time I've been excited for Pistons in a long time. I was kind of excited when they got Blake Griffin just because I thought he might be able to help get us that playoff pedigree. So I was watching a little while after Blake, but then it was just seemed like...
I mean, we did go to the playoffs that season with Blake.
Yeah, we just got swept.
Yeah, and then he obviously got injured, and
yeah, he hasn't looked
play all last season.
Which, that's the thing, Blake Griffin, when he's healthy, he still is an all-star, but he just can't stay healthy. That's the thing.
I think a healthy Blake Griffin on this team is gonna, like, I think we're gonna be a surprise team this year.
God, I can't talk. I think that's one of the reasons we didn't get rid of Blake or Derrick Rose, is because with all these young guys, they want good veteran leaders in the locker room.
Troy Weaver already said he loves Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, and they're a piece that he wants going forward, so he wasn't going to get rid of them.
Exactly, yeah, because like I said, just having those veterans in the locker room that are both have had lots of success in their career. They've both been in tons of playoff rounds. Neither one of them have obviously won, but they've had playoff success, and they're both seasoned vets who've been in the league since, 2010, 2011 they've both been in. I think they got drafted.
This was drafted in 2008. Blake Griffin was drafted in 2009.
So they've both been in the league for 10 years, 11 years.
They're both seasoned. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
I'm excited about this team.
It's good to have veteran leadership like that, because I've heard it again. I reference Pat McAfee all the time, but he said it. He said he's heard from thousands of coaches that when you, or any rookie in any sport, basically when you first enter the league, find a veteran and just tuck yourself in their back pocket and just kind of watch them, learn from them, and coaches always say there's a reason they're still in the league. There's a reason they've been doing this as long as they have. So learn from them, learn their habits, learn everything, and just try to do it. So again, I think having Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin, especially obviously Derrick Rose for the point guards and the guards, and then Blake Griffin for the front court. But yeah, again, those are going to be two great veterans for their young guys, and I'm excited. I honestly think, I don't think we're going to go on a huge run, but same thing with the Lions. If we can make the playoffs and just win one round in the playoffs, I'll consider that successful, considering we haven't even won a playoff game since what, 2012? No, not even that.
2009, I believe, was our last time.
Yeah, so it's been a long time since we've even won a playoff game.
Hey, they've at least made it.
Yeah, we've made it at least, just like the Lions. We've made it a few times, but haven't won shit.
Nope.